Here are the 7 design themes that could be on the new euro. Hi there, everyone. I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where you can expand your horizons and learn more English with our stories each and every Monday and Thursday. Today's story is about the new European banknotes. The euro paper currency hasn't changed since its debut over 20 years ago. You heard about that on Thursday. Today, I'll tell you about the 7 proposed design themes, and we can see which one we like the best. In the second half of today's lesson, I'll show you how to use the English phrase in depth. We have a quote of the week, and the video lesson will show you how to talk about a subset of a larger group. The video lesson and exercises for today are all at plainenglish.com/612. That's because this is lesson number 612. I think we're ready to get going. Last Thursday, you learned that the ECB, the European Central Bank, has begun the process of redesigning the euro banknotes. But that's not as easy as it sounds. The ECB has identified 7 possible themes for the new design. Citizens of the euro area were able to vote on the designs in an online survey in August. Now, the ECB will be doing in-depth surveys, and they'll announce the winning theme in 2024. It will be years before the new designs are finalized and printed. But here are the 7 candidate themes. I'll withhold my judgment until the end. First, European values mirrored in nature. The Treaty of Lisbon is the last of 3 treaties that form the constitutional basis of Europe, and the treaty enumerates 6 foundational values: human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, rule of law, and human rights. This theme, European values mirrored in nature, would use imagery from nature and the environment to depict those values. Of the 7 themes, this is the most political because it's directly related to a treaty that binds the EU together. But it's also extremely abstract. It will be a challenge for designers to use nature to depict something like rule of law, all in a design that can fit on a paper bill. The next possible theme is birds. There are hundreds of species of birds that are native to Europe. Birds fly across the continent without any concern for national boundaries. As the EU says, they enrich the world without depleting it. Birds are easy to depict on a banknote. But when you think of Europe, do you think of birds? When you think of Bermuda, you might think of tropical birds, so it makes sense that there are 3 birds on Bermuda's currency. I'm not so sure birds truly represent Europe. The ECB also notes with grave concern that some people suffer from ornithophobia, or the fear of birds, so this banknote design may not be fully inclusive. Third, the future is yours. This theme would include portraits, not of people that lived in the past, not of people living in the present, but composite portraits of people who may live in the future. These portraits would represent dreams and aspirations of Europeans. This one is highly abstract, and it would be hard to represent in a design what the future should look like. What's more, not everyone has the same dreams and aspirations, so it might be hard to find consensus on specific designs. Fourth, rivers. Like birds, rivers cross European country boundaries: the Rhine, the Loire, the Danube. Rivers are part of the environment, which is a European value. Like birds, this seems like a safe compromise. Rivers could be shown crossing borders, winding through mountains, passing by towns. Like birds, though, I don't think rivers are a convincing symbol of Europe. The fifth design is hands. Hands can depict people working together, constructing things, creating art and literature, and forming bonds. The ECB notes that this design could celebrate the hands that have built Europe and continue to do so. The sixth potential design is Our Europe, Ourselves, and this design would represent the living experience of Europe through 6 dimensions: being, doing, thinking, loving, communicating, and living. These 6 themes were proposed by a group commissioned to study the next currency design. I don't know if I like any of these. Maybe I suffer from a lack of imagination, but I don't see how you can design a banknote that depicts thinking or being. Hands just seems creepy. I don't want to touch the hand of a stranger when I reach into my wallet. Would the hands be attached to a wrist? The rest of a body? Similarly, the portrait of a future person living out European dreams seems risky. I do not have a voice or a vote in the new design, but if I had to pick among these 6, I would vote for the rivers or the European values mirrored in nature. Both, though, leave me unsatisfied, at least the way they were described. The ECB's Governing Council intervened and possibly saved the day by introducing a 7th potential theme: European culture. They added this 7th possibility to the 6 themes created by the study group. And this theme, European culture, this would honor Europe's cultural heritage and history. This is the closest to the windows and bridges theme on the current banknotes. It's the most traditional, the most conservative option. True, there would have to be some hard negotiations about which cultural symbols are chosen for the banknotes, but I think this design is the only one worthy of being on the euro currency. The 7 themes, the 6 original ones, plus the European culture theme, they were part of the advisory survey that citizens took in August. We'll know early next year which theme the ECB chose. Like I said, the plain English community was not consulted on the potential design of the banknotes, but that shouldn't stop us from expressing our opinions anyway. So there are 2 chances for you to make your voice heard. First, I'm going to make this a poll question in the next email that comes out. So today is Monday, October 2nd. In JR's lesson email on Thursday, October 5th, we'll ask you which design you like best. And you just click on the one you like, and your vote will be registered. We'll say which one the plain English community likes later on. I'll also send the results in an email to Christine Lagarde, the ECB president, and we'll see if she responds. I'll also put this as a poll question in the Plain English Facebook group. But to make your voice count, to make Plain English's voice count, you need to be on the email list. So if you're not yet getting the Plain English emails, then go to plainenglish.com/mail, MAIL, and sign up. Then watch for JR's email on Thursday morning, October 5th, plainenglish.com/mail. It's time for a quote of the week. Here is Franz Werfel. He was an Austrian novelist and playwright. He said, "Between too early and too late, there is never more than a moment." This talks about the power of good timing. Between too early and too late, there is never more than a moment, says Franz Werfel, the Austrian novelist and playwright. Well, the time is right for us to learn a new English expression, and that today is in depth. In depth is a modifier that we can use to describe something that is thorough and detailed. The opposite of in-depth is quick, fast, high level, not detailed. You heard in-depth in today's story about the redesign of the euro paper banknotes. The ECB posted an online survey about the 7 potential design themes: birds, rivers, European values, and, oddly, hands, among other ideas. The online survey was quick and a lot of people took it. But that survey by itself won't decide the final theme. It's just one step in the process. Next, the ECB will conduct 25,000 in-depth interviews with EU citizens. I called these interviews in-depth interviews because these will be comprehensive and more detailed than the online survey. The online survey just asked for people's opinions, but the in-depth interviews will probably ask more detailed questions. For example, they might ask about what emotions certain designs provoke. They might ask people to give longer reactions or feedback to certain ideas, to say why they liked the ideas they liked. The online survey was quick, but the phone interviews will be detailed. So we say they will be in-depth interviews. Here's something I used to do when I was in consulting. We do profiles of competitive businesses for our clients. So a company would ask for an analysis of other similar businesses. And we do a high-level survey of many different competitors, but then we'd pick just 2 or 3 competitors and do an in-depth analysis of those. We'd ask more questions, we'd gather more data, we'd spend more time, we'd do a more detailed write-up of just 2 or 3 other companies. So we'd have a high-level, simple survey of a lot of competitors, followed by an in-depth survey of just a few competitors. There was just a museum exhibit in Chicago. JR said he went 4 times. He's lucky I didn't get to go at all. It was an in-depth exhibit of Van Gogh's paintings along the Seine River, all produced between 1882 and 1889. There were 24 Van Gogh paintings in the exhibit, plus 50 paintings from his contemporaries, all done in the same region of France. If you go to the Art Institute on any given day, you can see some Van Gogh paintings. You can see some paintings from Impressionists done in this area and at this same time. But this exhibit had 24 paintings, all done in the same region and in the same few years by Van Gogh. That's why we say this exhibit was an in-depth exhibit from this part of Van Gogh's life. The exhibit was much more thorough, much more detailed than other collections, which might be more general, covering just a few paintings or a longer period of Van Gogh's career. I think that exhibit has moved to the Van Gogh Museum in the Netherlands in case you're in Europe and able to visit. Here are a few other quick examples. You can say, a magazine published an in-depth article about the latest advancements in artificial intelligence. That means the article is detailed and thorough. It's probably long. You can say that a financial analyst produced an in-depth report on a company's stock. That report would be long, thorough, and detailed. You can say that employees were required to take an in-depth training on the importance of data security. That means the training was detailed and thorough. So we use in-depth as a modifier, and it comes before the noun. In-depth report, in-depth training, in-depth article, in-depth exhibit, like that. Well, that's all for today. Remember, the full lesson is available at plainenglish.com/612. Coming up on Thursday, you guys know I don't talk about myself a whole lot. I only do it if it helps illustrate a point. Like when I told you about my classmate who stuck a piece of metal into the electrical socket. There was no better way to illustrate the expression accident waiting to happen. Well, this month I celebrate the 1-year anniversary of my move to another country, and that is an experience a lot of you have had as well. So on Thursday, we'll talk about my first year living in another culture, the surprises, the ups, the downs, all that stuff. And we'll see how it compares to your experience or to the experiences of the people you know who have also moved across borders. That's on Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. See you then.